Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another week. This episode of 30 NSG. We're going to be covering the new Lord of the Rings game, delayed on Xbox version. We're going to talk about Epic goes on a hunt for even more exclusives with a new program offering bigger payouts to smaller studios. We're going to be talking about BioWare and what they're doing. They're changing a lot of stuff, and they're laying off 50 people. And we're going to cover the next update of No Man's Sky Echoes. So that's all on today's show. After those topics, we open it up and we can talk about pretty much anything in the second half of the show. If you like what we do here, we do that Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern. We go over the stories, and chat is 100% part of the show. So make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. So, good morning, Stealth. Good morning, Rose. Good morning, Quest. Travis, Behemoth. How's everyone doing? Travis, I did see your story. I don't know if you saw me comment to you that you posted a story that was from October of 2022. So we don't cover stories from a year ago because we probably already covered it a year ago. So now if we have a what's it called? If we have a story that it's pertinent to it, then I'll refer back to it like we did yesterday with all the stories where the story today is permanent and permanent, and then bring back the past stories. Yeah, just make sure when you submit stories in the news stories, you're not the first person to do it. I've even done it. Make sure you just look at the topic, because sometimes on social media and whatever, people submit or post stories that are like 2 years old for whatever reason. So yeah, that's exactly right. It just happens to be in someone's feed, and then it starts to get circulated again, and people think it's like present day news, and it's literally like a year old, sometimes older. So that's all. I appreciate the submission though. All right, on first story we're going to talking about the Forza Motorsports. We talked about Baldur's Gate 3. We talked about how games are delayed because of the Xbox Series S. People out there want to kind of be like, no, it's not the S. That's not the problem and whatnot. And yet we keep getting stories that come out that says new Lord of the Rings game delays on Xbox version. And just the title, you think, I haven't read the story yet, but just with that title, you're like, oh boy, here we go again, right? It's like that meme with Jim Carrey. He's like, oh boy, here we go again, right? So the Xbox Series S X versions of the upcoming co-op Lord of the Rings game, unfortunately, is being pushed back into next year. Okay, Lord of the Rings: Return of Mora was officially been delayed, but only on Xbox Series X/S. Excitement has been building up in late October launch of Lord of the Rings: Return of Mora. But it seems that the Xbox fans will have to wait substantially longer, and then Fellows of PC and PlayStation 5 co-op multiplayer crafting and survival game remains on schedule for both PC and PlayStation 5. Announced in June of 2022, Lord of the Rings: Return of Mora puts players in the role of a dwarf seeking to retake the Lost Halls, and players will also form groups up to 8 players to delve deeper and deeper into the mines. Now, the crafting tools, gathering ore, and battling orcs and other nefarious beings in the dark, taking cues from the Deep Rock Galactic, as well as Valheim, the Forest, and Lord of the Rings: Return of Mora, has already built the community of excited fans. Now, unfortunately, it seems that the team of Free Range Games doesn't have the resources to bring Lord of the Rings: Return of Mora to all 3 of the announced platforms at the same time. Now, the team confirmed at Twitter Thursday morning that Lord of the Rings: Return of Mora is being delayed on the Xbox Series X and S, and the game will now launch in early 2024 on the platform, with the more specific release date to be shared later. No explicit reason was provided for the delay, but we can all kind of assume, right? I know it's hard to assume, but we don't really know why. So the October 24th release date for PC and PlayStation 5 versions of Lord of the Rings: Return of Mora remains intact. While further changes are possible, Free Range Games reconfirmed that the PC and PlayStation 5 release date, alongside confirmation of the Xbox Series X/S versions delayed. Now, Lord of the Rings: Return of Mora is originally announced as a PC-only release. Plans for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS versions of the game were only confirmed in June, and it seems bringing the game to Xbox is taking longer than expected, hence the delay. Now, there's little to be taken away from the delay announcement other than disappointment for Xbox fans. Free-range games must believe the delay is worth it. However, Xbox users will have to make do, perhaps, of Deep Rock Galactic on Game Pass. Now, this is that game. This is that game that we looked at that didn't kind of, it didn't look that good. Let me bring up some gameplay of it. It actually looked, I think, if I remember correctly, during June, when we saw it for the game show. Let's see if we have some gameplay here. This is from IGN. Let's see if we can. Like, this doesn't look very good. And we actually compared to Deep Rock Galactic, the graphics and whatnot. And remember, we saw Gollum came out, and everyone was like, what the hell's with this game? So this is another game that is a co-op game that you're dwarves. And obviously, I'm interested in it because I like these types of games. But at the same time, I mean, I'm not too sad that this game is not coming to Xbox, and you can still play it on PC. So what I find funny, though, is that they don't give a reason of why it's delayed on Xbox. Forza Motorsports, co-op, or split screen. We had Halo delayed because they couldn't get things to work. We have Baldur's Gate being delayed because of things. There's another game I forget that's being delayed because of things, and now we have this. For some reason, the problems keep happening with Xbox's side, but not with any other side, which is kind of weird, right? So you have to put two and two together. If you have eyes and you have ears and you're reading stuff and hearing things, you have to assume that, okay, let's say it's not the S, then it's something fundamentally wrong with the Xbox, like the way to design for Xbox. And what would that be, right? Because people said it's easy to code for these new systems, but for some reason, because of the parity thing that Xbox has going on, Microsoft has going on with Xbox Series S and X, yet these games, more and more now, are coming out that they can't make the deadlines and they're delayed. So what do you guys think in chat? What do you guys think in the comment section if you're watching this after the fact? Do you think this has to do with the same thing that's happening with Forza Motorsports? The same thing why Halo was missing split screen at launch? The same thing why Baldur's Gate 3 is delayed? I don't know. Just sounds a little weird to me. I want to know what you guys think in chat. Just came across the feed. Okay. So almost like we said, here we go again, because we should never quit saying it's their fault. It'll never be their fault. It's just weird to me. Are you saying Return of Moria? Yeah. The Dwarven Kingdom. Yes. It's a galactic or Deep Rock Galactic game, basically, right? Like, look, here's the gameplay again. You can have up to 4 people, if not more than 4 people. It's the potato. Because Xbox is to blame for everything, even if before it's still their fault. Of course, it's one time. It's strange. 2 is coincidence, but 3 is a trend. Yeah, we're up to like 4 or 5 now, though. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, Rose. We all know, right? Like if there's 3 people, in the room, right? If it's 3 people in the room and someone farts, right? And someone's like, I don't know who that is. And then all of a sudden, one person gets up out of the room for a second, and then we smell the fart again, right? You can assume it's one of the 2 people still left in the room. And if one decides, hey, did you fart? And we start knowing who it is. They just don't want to admit it, right? They're like, no, I didn't fart. I don't know what you're talking about, right? Morning, water. This is what it looks like. That looks like an Amazon cloud game. Yeah, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. I'm sure it will be fun, but it looks like Deep Rock Galactic. I kind of like the Deep Rock Galactic graphics better than what they have here. Again, this looks like a PC game that they're now porting over to PlayStation, and it looks like It's coming on PlayStation just fine. So here's my next thing. If we do find out later that because of the parity thing of Xbox Series S and X, they should really, really start releasing stuff on the X first. Now, I know Microsoft doesn't want to do this, right? If it's ready to run on the X, they should release it, in my opinion, because I think you're missing out on stuff. Now, if it's running on the, if it's because of the S, and they need it to run across both platforms at the same time, you're really hurting the people that paid for the higher end system that can run these things, right? You're punishing the people that were more dedicated in paying more money for the systems that could run these things. And again, these are just my opinion. Don't know if this is actually happening, but you know. And if people on the S can't play it in October, then they would have to wait till, let's say, January or February. I don't see a problem with this if it's not running on their system. Now, you as the customer, if you would like to play the newest games that can run the thing on the console that they created, then you would have to fork over the $500 for the bigger system. If you didn't get the bigger system, then you have to wait, right? This is a problem. But Microsoft said out of their own mouth that Xbox Series S is the one selling 2-to-1 of the console. So if there's 22 million units out there, okay, there's what, 15 million compared to the 5 million of the Xbox Series X's out there, right? Or actually, it would be 20. Well, yeah, because if there's 20 total, it's got to be 2-to-1. Yeah, we're talking less than 5 million, or maybe just over 5 million. So they don't want to separate their fan base because they wouldn't make as good sales. Now, it would be interesting if, hey, sorry, these games don't run on the Series S and they only run on the X on Game Pass or something like that. That's another thing. Water says, this is what happens when you make a dumb decision to release different powered systems at the same damn time. Why would you do that? Sony actually did it right, digital or physical. Right. And I thought, Water, 5 years ago, before the S's and X came out, I thought the S meant that it was going to be the discless version, still high powered, and then the X was the one with the disc, right? And I was like, okay, they're charging more, but that's not what happened, right? That's not what happened. So it's pretty, I mean, we got to call it what it is, right? We got to call it what it is. They duped us. They sold us a $500 system that is, and I've always said this in the past, you have to make for your lowest common denominator, right? So let me give you an example, right? I used to be a marching band instructor years and years ago, okay? And as a group, I used to design, you know, those shapes and stuff that they're on the base on the football field when they're doing halftime shows and whatnot for competitions. And there's always at least one or two people that just don't know their left from right, right? They just don't know. Okay. And instead of kicking that person off, because you can't do that, right? Everyone has to be involved. You have to work around the person that's your weakest link. Okay. So in competition, if the person doesn't know their left from right, you got to figure stuff out. You either have to put them between two people, right, that know what they're doing, so they kind of blend in and get lost in with the rest of the group. Okay. And hopefully people don't notice it. Okay. Or you put them on the percussion line, because the percussion line usually has a group of people that stay off the side of the field, and you don't want them on the field because you don't want to be exposed. Okay. So you have to work around it doesn't matter how advanced everyone else is. The person that's on the field that doesn't know how to march, that's your problem. You have to work around that and make sure that nobody sees that person so your score doesn't go majorly down. That's what my Xbox is doing right now. They have this big sore spot that they have to hide, but now they can't hide it. They can't hide it. So now they're just like, oh yeah, we're delaying stuff. We can't do it. Right? And that's the problem. Cut both of their feet off. Problem solved. Well, they're only right half the time. Not even really, because when you say left, they put right. When you put right, they say left. Chris says you can't get rid of the feature parity, in my opinion. I have an X and a PC, but can't bait and switch all the people with the S's. The sale on the S shows that there's demand for the lower cost system. Not to mistake, in my opinion. No, you're absolutely right, Chris. But that's the problem. That's the problem. Because they did the parity system, okay, I don't see a problem, okay, if you paid $500 and the other person paid $300, if they get it early, what's the difference right now if you buy a game to get early access, you paid $100 for that game. You get it a week early. Someone that didn't pay $100 and they have the standard edition, they get it when the game comes out. What's the difference? Right? What's the difference? The difference is that the person that paid extra money gets the extra features. They get it early, they get better graphics, they get higher frame rate, they get all this stuff. But because they made the problem, Microsoft made the problem because they made a smaller system, they made a cheaper system, they made the system that has the ecosystem that has no disk drive on it, okay? They made the system where, what are you going to do? I have $500 in my hand. Do I buy the Xbox and just get the Xbox of the Series X, or do I get the S and then have money left over to get Game Pass on top of that and still have $20 left over to get the S? Now, if you're a person that's a smart person and you don't know anything about the power of the system, you're like, well, I'm saving money. Not only am I getting a console, but I'm getting a year's worth of Game Pass, okay? And I have money in my pocket, right? This is exactly why the S's are selling more than the X's. That's it. You get a PlayStation 5, but that's it, though. You see what I'm saying, Travis? If you have $500, just $500, you get an X or you get a PlayStation 5. No games. No service, no PlayStation Plus, no Game Pass if you get the X. You just get $500, you get the console, then you have to buy an additional game. So now you're up to $570. But if you buy the S for $300, you have $200 left over. You could buy a couple of games or you can get Game Pass. Right? Well, great. Yeah, you get a PlayStation 5 with no games. $500 in your hand, you buy a PlayStation 5. You guys are not understanding what I'm saying. You get just the system, though. You get no games. There's no practical way to delay a release on the S. Developers would have to have a total different build for Xbox versions of the game. No, they can release. The only reason the X is being delayed for games is because the S is holding it back. PlayStation 5 with free-to-play games on the store is better than Game Pass on the Xbox. You still get free-to-play games on the Xbox as well, boss. What I'm saying, though, is if you have $500, okay, people that look and go, oh, wait, I can get a system and a bunch of games, right? Just take PlayStation out of the equation, right? Or take, not PlayStation, take Game Pass or the streaming services out of the equation. I have $500. What can I get? Well, you can get a system and 3 games, okay? You can get a system and 3 games, or you can get just the system. I understand that, Brain. But you understand what I'm saying? Great. So you have $540 to spend on a system. You still just get the system. Well, you borrow games and share with a friend. You guys are, I love how you guys are making up all these different scenarios. I'm just saying, when you're in the store and you buy a system, you're like, you're not sitting there going, yeah, I'm going to buy this system and I'll borrow all my games from Tim. It's stupid that they're doing the parody. It's dumb. I'll even go with Baldur's Gate 3 as the example. Baldur's Gate 3 is the hottest game right now. It's potential game of the year right now, this year in 2023. And the game of the year doesn't come to the system until next year. That's ridiculous. Because they choose to make it come out on the S at the exact same time as the X. Where right now, Microsoft could be making money on Baldur's Gate 3 on the X. But they choose not to. So by the time that comes out, people are like, I'm kind of done with it. But now as the consumers, you're like, oh, I can get it on sale now. But not really, because it'll be full price because it's the first day it's coming out for Xbox. Baldur's Gate 3, PlayStation and PC exclusive. Right, unintentionally. Baldur's Gate is hot shit right now, but it hasn't released on anything but PC. But it's coming on PlayStation next month, September 6th, the same time as Starfield for PlayStation. But it can, boss. But it can. The Xbox Series X can. The reason it's not on Xbox the same time as PlayStation is because of the S holding it back because of split screen. And I agree with that, boss. And I agree with that. Quality console will get you quality games. The quality of the console is being held back by its younger sibling, the S. It's Microsoft, 100%. It's 100% Microsoft's fault. That's what I'm saying from the very beginning of this whole the first article we read. You see the X and the S is the exact same thing, but it's not. The X is just as powerful as the PlayStation 5, but the X is being chopped off of its legs because of the S. You have the same cup, the morning one, where I hate mornings. I actually love mornings, but I'll be honest, the X is as powerful as the Switch, maybe. You guys just talk shit because you like hearing yourselves speak or type. My buddy just told me that we're playing multiplayer on Baldur's Gate 3. The other players isn't playing with you. The character they created is still be in the party, and you still control them. That's cool. Don't mind Travis. Travis likes to talk shit, and Boss likes to talk shit because he bleeds blue. But they just like saying stupid shit every once in a while. The X has all the great specs, blah, blah, best console ever as far as specs, but if you're never going to use them, what's the matter? Well, it does use them. It's just being crippled by games don't come out the exact same time, right? They're holding back the X because of the S. Here's the worst part about Baldur's Gate 3. What about if Baldur's Gate 3, 5-6 months from now, they can't get the split screen to work at all for the S? Do they just release it then? And at that point, if you can't get it working, then are you not releasing Baldur's Gate 3 on the Xbox at all? We all say stupid shit, like driving over the mountain when you could have gone along the river. Okay. But if I'm driving, why would I go down the river? That's a bad analogy there, Travis. Some streamers out there, AC6 got reviews, so somehow Xbox bad. Some streamers are true grifters. Sorry, that's off topic, but damn. They cut split screen as a feature to get it out on Xbox. If they can't, getting it working on the S. But my point, Chris, is the reason that it's delayed right now, Baldur's Gate 3 is delayed, is because of split screen on the S. They can't get it working on the S. So let's fast forward 6 months from now. All of a sudden, they come out with a statement and say, we can't get split screen working on the S, so we're just dropping it from the S, right? And then it comes out. So there's no split screen. You split screen on the X, no split screen on the S, 6 months after the game was already popular, game of the year, and whatnot. That's dumb. Because not only did you delay it because of the parity, but then you can't get it working, so the parity's out the door anyway. Hit Squad says, who really needs split screen anymore? That's for anyone else to decide, Hit Squad. I'm not the developer that said, you know what we need? We need split screen. I think there's a group of people that do play split screen, and if it wasn't important, why would they put it in, right? It's not like they're putting in split screen because they just felt like putting split screen in. They put split screen in because they want people to play together on the same screen, right? They're like, oh, well, someone asked for split screen. Well, Ted asked for it. Consumer that bought the last Baldur's Gate 13 years ago, he said he wants split screen. Let's put it in. He's the only person that asked. Like, people wanted split screen. Just because you're not using split screen and I'm not using split screen doesn't mean no one's using split screen. The only way that makes sense is Microsoft have money in Larian up front from Game Pass. So if your hand doesn't come out on Xbox, they can still pay because they want it out of together. But we don't even. That's a third party site though, Sarge. You're saying if they offer them to go on Game Pass, right now it's not supposed. Baldur's Gate 3 is not going on Game Pass. It's a third party game, and it's supposed to come out at full release. So you're just paying for the game separate. It's not on Game Pass. Who drops shit consoles? A superior console at the same time. It's called the same console. The American incompetence and the absolute common form. You're not wrong about the company dropping a inferior product next to their big product, right? But they're playing 4D chess, right? They're playing where they want people to get the lower end system because it's more money in their pocket because they make more money off the S's than they do off the X's. Then they also get you in their pocket with the ecosystem, right? Because there's no disk drive. You can't buy a physical game. If you have the S, you are locked solid in to the ecosystem of the Microsoft store. So that's what they're playing. Rose says, bottom line is they have dropped if they drop this parity bullshit, it's killing them. Yeah, get it together. Yeah, I truly believe that. Just stop the parody, right? Stop the parody. Has it even been confirmed that split screen, that's the delay? Yes. Yes. Literally. They came out and said the reason Baldur's Gate 3 is not coming on Xbox is because they can't get the split screen to work. Split screen is for people who actually have friends. So sorry for your loss. You want quality, you got to pay for it. And I agree with that, boss. I agree with that. If I paid $500 and someone paid $300, why am I beholden to them? Right? Why am I beholden to them? If I pay right now, wouldn't you guys be a little pissed off if someone paid $100 to get the game early and then someone paid $60 and also got the game early with no extra bonuses? You paid $30 more just to get the game early, but someone at $60 also got the game early. That's not the reason they paid more is to get the game early. My Series S is not shit. And this is how it gets started, Monster, right? Because you paid money on something, you feel protected of it, right? But you have to know that the S is the lower tier Xbox and is holding back the games that are coming out for the system that you bought, right? I have an S, I have an X, right? You have to know that the S is holding back games coming out on the Microsoft platform. They won't drop the S though, boss. They won't. It's sold 2-to-1. It's the more prominent Xbox that they've sold. Water says they should just go ahead and release it on the X. Yeah, they should. Why is everyone dumping on the S? Because it holds games back. This is true. These are facts. The X are more expensive to make? Yeah, they make less money on the X's, just like PlayStation makes less money. They don't make... These console makers don't make money off the console themselves. They don't make a big, huge margin on consoles, right? Hence why PlayStation right now is trying to get the diskless version and then sell the hard drive, or not the hard drive, the disc separately, right? They're going to pay separate for that so that people that want the discs, they would make an additional money on that. Is that what the S stands for? Is that what the S stands for, Rose? I mean, he'll get a Switch. It's cheaper and better games than the Xbox. And hell, I don't know if it's better than the Xbox. You guys take everything and lump it into one thing, right? You're taking that the first party titles aren't good and whatever else, and you Sony ponies, okay? Again, I have no alliance for anything. I'll play games wherever they are, but you guys are so delusional sometimes and say that this game is bad, but it plays the same third party game on this system than it does your system, and people still play it and still have fun, and that's at the end of the day what it is. But we're talking about fundamentally the S holds back games because of features. And the features that are on certain games don't make it out and they get delayed. And you have to wait 6 months, 9 months, 10 months, 12 months to wait and get these things. Anyone who says Sony Pony is on the Xbox side. So what happens when I said Xbox? And does that make me back on the Sony side? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. No news on Reactivate. The Series S. Oh, what happened? Where did his balance go? The Series S made lock casuals into the ecosystem. Phil even said that this is why we won't beat the console war, because folks are locked into the Sony ecosystem from PlayStation 4. He's low key trying. But that's exactly what they want, though, right? The reason they're getting rid of the disk drives is because they want you to, one, they get more money off the things. They're not losing money on secondhand games that you're getting from friends or from GameStop or anything else like that. So you get that game, and once you have the diskless PlayStation 5 or the diskless Xbox, whatever it is, then you're stuck in that ecosystem. Then you have sunk fallacy, right? Because now when the next PlayStation comes out, if they're backwards compatible, you don't want to switch over sides to the next console, right? Because you have all these games over here on this system. I'm impressed with the S. I see what you're saying, but I'm impressed with the jump from Xbox One to S. Tough hearing the S being destroyed, though. I mean, it is what it is, right? We all take ownership of stuff that we love, but when someone, like, you might like a movie or you might like a song, and then someone says, I hate that song, I hate this movie, doesn't mean anything less from you as that you like it. That these are opinions. Opinions up to a fact, which is the S is less powerful than the X, which these are facts. You can still enjoy Starfield on there, right? But it's less powerful on the S than it is the X. Flight Simulator, when you play on the S, is a fun time, but it's also an inferior to the X, which is inferior to the PC. No, you didn't post a link. I think you put a period. Yeah, you put a period after PlayStation 4. Sometimes when you put a period, it thinks you're putting .com or something, so it thinks you're putting a link. That's why Vandal. That's why it knocked you. Anyone else seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space? We saw it a while ago. We haven't seen it the recent. Well, they said they're not making upgrades. Phil Spencer came out yesterday and said there's no mid-gen upgrades. He says that would separate the player base and the developers even more. Look, here's the thing. I don't understand the downside. If you have an S, right? You have an S, and there's a feature that's not on the S. What would you rather have? The missing feature and the game on time, or get the feature and delayed 6, 9 a year, right? This is what I don't understand. If you paid extra money, then I get to play the game sooner because I paid for the system that can run the features. If you have a lower tier system and it can't run that feature, they either drop the feature or you have to wait for it to go on. Why am I punished because I paid more money for a system that does better things? If you're in the Xbox ecosystem, you shouldn't shit on the S. All the S Game Pass subscribers are why the cost is so low. Those S owners are subsidizing the cost of Game Pass for the rest of us. That's false as well. That's false as well, Chris. There's more people paying for Ultimate than paying for the standard edition of Game Pass. There's 15 million people, okay, out of the 25 million? Okay, 15 million people are paying for Ultimate, where the people that are, on the regular Game Pass. So if the S owners have a computer, the Ultimate, then they can play their games on the S and the PC. The people at the S are not subsidizing anything. They're not making a slightly more powerful S, Rose. Don't get confused. They're just giving you more storage. That's it. They're giving you a terabyte of storage. The S only comes with 512 gigabytes. It's got less teraflops, got less processor, it's got less storage, right? My son absolutely loves the S, right? His complaint is the storage is not big enough. So I either have to buy an external storage or he has to keep deleting games that he's not playing, right? That's the biggest problem that the storage that he has, right? Because my 8-year-old son doesn't look at it and go, oh, these graphics are terrible, I'm not playing the game. He's just having fun, right? We as adults and older people that are been gaming for 20 years, you like what you like, right? You like what you like. So you want the amenities of stuff, right? I don't know how many of you are going to a hotel and don't want amenities, right? You don't pay really high prices for something to get really low quality stuff. You want your buck to get stretched out for what it is. Why are you having to choose, period? If the next gen, you shouldn't have to choose if you're getting both. Most Game Pass subs are on Ultimate tier, even if they don't have the PC, because it's only console option with online, formerly called Gold. But they had it before that. The stat that I'm talking about, Chris, is before they just changed the whole thing, right? So your statement might be true, but my statement is before they had the Game Pass core when they moved everyone from Gold over. Okay, the number 25 million is before that transferred over. Right, exactly, Valens. Can I get that room that hasn't been cleaned yet? We're going to go on to the next topic. The next topic is Epic goes on a hunt for even more exclusives with the new program offering bigger payouts to smaller studios. Epic First Run is a new program that aims to attract new releases from smaller developers and publishers. See, Epic wants people, they know what it is, right? They're paying people more money, and they also want them, they have to sign a deal with them, right? So you could use their Unreal Engine for free, right? But then when you make money, they want a percentage, and when you get a certain percentage, then they get more and more. So if you thought the era of Epic Game Store exclusives was winding down, think again. Epic announced today a new program called Epic First Run that throws open exclusive doors to just about anyone in the new game. So the Epic Store has grown to a successful major digital storefront since the launch in 2018, which took them 2 years to add a shopping cart, part due to the exclusive game release. Epic has used a massive financial success of Fortnite to pay publishers in advance to launch games on its storefront, and more to the point, not launch them on Steam, at least temporary. So it managed to attract some big names over the years, like Borderlands 3, Control, Hitman 3, Kingdom Hearts, but it's been ridiculously expensive endeavors. So we learned in May of 2021 that we had already spent more than $1 billion on exclusives, despite not making money on them. Epic said in March of 2023 that it was going to continue pursuing exclusives for its storefront, but would focus more on major releases. which had proven much more effective in attracting new users to the EGS than smaller games. The new Epic First Run program is a way to augment the strategy by bringing small studios back into the picture instead of negotiating upfront deals with developers and publishers for individual games. First Run grants them 100% of all net revenue earning during the first 6 months of the game's release on Epic Store in exchange for 6 months being mostly exclusive. It opens any developer or publisher with a game coming out or after October 16th when the program goes live that hasn't previously been released through another third-party storefront or subscription service. So it's mostly exclusive because developers taking part of the First Run program can still offer the games for sale directly to gamers through their own storefront or website. They can also sell them through the third-party storefront during exclusive period as long as they used Epic's keyless distribution system. To do so, digital storefronts that make use of the system can thus offer games for sale during the Epic exclusive period, including GOG, Humble, Fnatic, Green Man Gaming, and all the rest. Right? In other words, pretty much everyone except, well, you know. The Epic rep confirmed that there's no hidden cap or revenue earning during the 6 months launch period. All net revenue, regardless of the amount, go to the developer and publisher. Once the 6 months exclusive period has expired, games will revert to Epic's standard revenue share of 88% for studios and 12% for Epic. Now, the rep also said that the program is additive to existing exclusive programs, which also continue to Epic. It's also would in March. The individual deals for major releases like Assassin's Creed Mirage, what it does then enable Epic to continue spending more strategically on major exclusives while opening the door for smaller games that might otherwise not be eligible for exclusivity. Now, and other bonuses, payday, and offers. Now, the first run program includes early access to releases, so games can spend their entire exclusive period in pre-release state and then launch into full release everywhere, including Steam. That's actually pretty smart, right? So Epic exclusive have also been continuously right from the start, early days of the program, including moves that last-minute scoop up for Metro Exodus, which left a bad taste. And while the severity of some reactions never made a lot of whole sense to me, but literally just a different website, and an awful lot of gamers just don't like the idea of buying games from stores other than Steam. Right? Imagine that, right? So that the console war that's going on with like PlayStation and Xbox, the same thing goes on PC that people are like, I like Steam, I like Epic, I'm not paying. And all it is taking your mouse and moving over to the other thing and opening it up. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. So it says a few other responses to the announcement on Twitter. The level of unhappiness over Epic's exclusive persistence is some quarters despite that. And more clear than ever that Epic has no intentions of easing up. And it's also instead of fewer Epic Games Store exclusives in the future, we're much more likely to see seeing more. So it's actually pretty smart of them, right? So they're trying to get people to dive in to Epic Launcher. They were spending $1 billion and not making money back. Well, now they can get that 6-month buff where most games sell all their stuff within the first month to 2 months. And now they're saying that you can come out with a game and put it in early access and not charge, and just have the early access so people play on the Epic Store. Well, there's no difference in what Epic's trying to do than what Game Pass is trying to do or what PlayStation's trying to do, right? PlayStation Plus is trying to get you in on the ecosystem. So once you're there and you buy something, you're like in that system. So once you have that one game, you might buy a second game. Once you're on the program, you get a discount on games that you obviously buy digitally as well. Same with Game Pass. You go to Game Pass, you pay for a monthly fee for Game Pass, and then once you're in there, you spend some money, you buy one game, you buy a microtransaction, you start like settling into that ecosystem. Now with Epic, it's free to get the Epic Launcher, and then you start paying for games. Now they're in your library, and you're more likely to come back to get another game in your library. And then if there's microtransactions, Epic makes money off that as well. So this is a smart move by Epic. Epic's making all these little moves here and there while everyone's watching the big guys like Apple and Microsoft and all the other things. Meanwhile, Epic's coming along, buying up companies for facial recognition and body recognition. They're jumping into the movie industry, making all the backgrounds for shows and stuff that you see, like Mandalorian and now Ahsoka and all other movies out there with the Unreal Engine 5, right? They're selling their Unreal Engine 5 basically to everybody. So in the future, majority of games will probably be on the Unreal Engine, either that or Unity. So Epic's got their hands in all these different avenues, just like Microsoft has their hand in all these different avenues trying to make as much money as possible. Let me see what you guys are saying in chat. Never played Monster Hunter because I never played the recent one coming out. It's like One Piece. Oh, is there a new Monster Hunter coming out? Water says, so 30, remember revealing too much, right? Yeah. How does he have 22.7 hours in Starfield on stream already? I guess he tested it out. Yeah, I would assume that he got the code. He got a review code. Right? I would assume. Either that or he maybe knows somebody, because I know there's people releasing, and again, I don't know the situation there, but there are people releasing the game from GameStops into the wild. So I don't know. Good for him. If you got a review code, that's good for him. Ouch. Yeah, Monster Hunter is a great game. You never played Monster Hunter World? You ever played Monster Hunter World, boss? That's another good game you probably would like. I don't know if you ever played it. There's a dude on Reddit selling Starfield. He stole an entire shipment. What the hell? He actually admitted to that? Here's what I'm blown away by, right? He actually admitted that he stole a whole entire shipment, and he's on Reddit. You know how easy it is for like them to find like the user that posted that, and they take the user and they go back to the ID. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. Oh yeah, Water. When we first started, when we started playing Marvel's Avengers, it was me and him in the directory, and then I kept tossing it over to revealing, and he blew up, and he became like the lead. Him and Lejeune were like the big two in and then Bob Duck Weave also came up with Marvel's Avengers, and there was a bunch of people. You know what I mean? It was a nice little circle there, nice little community. Now, I saw a video on YouTube. He recorded himself going to FedEx and mailing it to someone. Interesting. Don't you love people that are just so, like, criminals are just so stupid. They literally film themselves committing a crime. It's amazing. Travis, try not to talk shit about other content creators. Because I honestly don't give a shit what you think about someone else's content. I don't. So don't bad mouth anybody. I don't even know the person, or if I do know the person, just don't talk about. Like, you could have literally said that to yourself without typing it. I said his name, and you could have been like, "Oh God, I hate that guy," or "He's an ass." You didn't have to type that. Dude recording himself smoking a blunt with a gun in the background reviewing the game. I'm amazed by the society today. Yeah, man. I stole a whole case of stuff and I'm selling it. Come to my store. Like, what? I hope everybody gets what they deserve. That's what I hope. Someone did that with Kingdom Hearts 3 to sabotage the Xbox version. I think they were a GameStop employee, and they took a copy of the game and leaked the story. Man, can you imagine being that hateful? I can't. Isn't Florida the state where people steal shit on camera on a daily basis? Maybe. Aren't stupid people everywhere, Travis? Water says, I'm thinking of Starfield will get a 9.5 because I paid for $100 version to be better. Be worth better be worth it. I think it'll get like an 88. I also think it could be the highest ranked game, which I think would have to be a 95 because I think Fallout 4 got a 94. Right. Now it's changed, right, Dolphin? Like the baby boomers hated like the Gen Xers hated the millennials now hate the Zoomers. It's a passage of life, isn't it? It's just a passage of life. Gotta have the next group. God, can you imagine who the Zoomers are gonna hate? It's gonna be very interesting. All right, the next story I want to talk about. I think I'll order the X for Starfield. Here's what I would do, Monster. Here's what I would do. I would, because once you buy it, you can play it on all the systems. Doesn't really matter, right? So I would, if you didn't buy it already and you're waiting for it to come on Game Pass, play it on the S. See if you like it, right? If you like it and love it, then you can upgrade to the X. But Travis, does it matter what people have and what they do with their money? My wife has a shirt that says, I used to be a people person until people ruined it. My wife has a shirt that says, I forget what it says now. Well, I'm going to text her. I got to text her. She has a shirt that she wears to work. It's funny. Us talking about the S. See, we upsold you. See how that works, Monster? We told you the S was crap, and now you want to upgrade. She's an accountant. She was an accountant. She runs the family business, the financials for the farm. So whatever title you want to give her, if you want to give her like the chief financial officer or whatever. She runs a business. Yeah, I forget what she'll get back to me. She'll get back to me. I think it's like I'm not a people person or something, or keep your distance or something like that. Basically like being a Ford truck person. What does that mean? See, I used to be a Dodge guy. My first pickup truck I bought was a Dodge, but then Dodge fucked me over. So I don't buy anything Dodge anymore. Right? I love the truck. I had a Dodge Dakota RT. And I absolutely love the truck, but there was a factory defect on the paint. So if you ever notice this, if you guys see if Dodge is on the road and then you see their paint peeling, that's a feature. That's a feature from the factory. If you ever see it, it'll be on the hood, just like the hood of it or the top of the roof. You'll see all the paint peeling off and down to the primer. That's a feature from Dodge. They gave me $500 to fix it. right? And you know it's from the early 2000s or late 90s, right? I don't know if the new trucks do it, but if you ever see that paint job, that's a feature. Besides, it's a well-known fact that if you have a truck, you have to know exactly how to be a terrible driver. Is that a thing? Is that a thing in Texas, Travis? I'm not sure if that applies here. We stay away from Corollas. We stay away from Corollas in Florida. All right, next story. Next story. BioWare is eliminating approximately 50 jobs at the company. BioWare decided to terminate around 50 jobs from its current team following recent layoffs in other companies owned by Electric Arts. BioWare is laying off around 50 employees, and this happens amid the development of Dragon Age Dreadwolf, which, can I just tell you, that game is going to be it's going to be in bad shape. They went through so many upper management for this game already. It's very disheartening, or like, not disheartening. What's the word? I'm just disappointed. They went through so many upper management. So what they were happening before I even continue reading if you guys don't know this. So when Anthem came out, they were having massive problems. We all know about the Anthem problem, right? So they took people from Dragon Age, Dreadwolf, and moved them over to Anthem to fix Anthem. And they still couldn't fix Anthem, and then they abandoned Anthem. And then those people left BioWare, and they hired new people to come into BioWare. And then those people also left BioWare and Dragon Age. Dragon Age has gone through so many upper management problems. This game is just literally Dreadwolf. Dread is the key term here for the next Dragon Age game. So BioWare has been responsible for creating some of the best RPGs ever made. The company also has created many popular franchises like Mass Effect, Dragon Age, but it's also struggling to get the same level of success in recent years as both Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem released to mixed reactions from the fans. Andromeda wasn't that bad. The problem with Andromeda was the facial features, and the public eye completely destroyed that game. The online of it, story was mid. The story was mid, but they did some good things in Mass Effect Andromeda. Okay. So now BioWare General Manager Gary McKee revealed that around 50 roles of BioWare will be terminated, and the employees will be laid off or moved to other divisions of EA. According to McKay, this is part of the move that makes the team more agile and focused. What kind of word is agile for a game developer? Kind of weird. Like you're ripping off the weight of your car as you're driving because you're like, we gotta get rid of the weight, the dead weight, right? That seems like there's some problems there. It also will allow the team to recognize into its changing needs. However, McKay promises that BioWare will also continue to deliver high-quality games. He also promised that Dreadwolf and the next Mass Effect would not be negatively impacted by the change in the team's composition. Well, that's because it was already changed, so it's just going to stay the same, I guess, right? So today's announcement comes on the heels of EA layoffs at the beginning of 2023, which saw 200 QA testers from Apex Legends team laid off, and EA is reportedly set to lay off around 6% of the entire workforce in 2023. And in this change in BioWare's team, it's probably a part of its process. The official reason given for such drastic cut is a personal was it would also improve the focus of the projects that integrated value to the company while moving away from others. That's some corporate bullshit right there. But all right. While BioWare is laying off staff, the franchise that put it on the map, Baldur's Gate, is having the biggest year ever. Can you imagine? Something that you guys had, you let go, and then someone else is reaping the rewards of it because they made a kick-ass game. So developer Larian Studios' Baldur's Gate 3 is a huge hit on Steam. It has become one of the biggest rated games of the year and ever on PC. Many critics have affirmed that Baldur's Gate 3 raised the bar for AAA RPGs due to the excellent storytelling gameplay freedom. It's interesting to see if BioWare is able to pull off something similar with Dragon Age Dreadwolf. I don't know. If you guys want to watch an interesting YouTube channel, it's his name is Mike Daria. I forget what his name is now. I forget his name. I'll have to look it up later. But he's an ex BioWare employee. He worked for Anthem, worked for EA, worked for Dragon Age. He was like the lead. And he tells some cool stories and gives you the insight of like developers behind the scenes. I don't even think he does developing anymore. I think he just does YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. But this game's in trouble. BioWare's in trouble. Okay. Not only are they in trouble with Dragon Age, but they're also in trouble with the next Mass Effect game. Mass Effect's in the early stages, but Dragon Age was supposed to come out already. It was worked on before Anthem. It was running side by side Anthem. Anthem came out in 2019, and I think Dragon Age, obviously we had the whole world shut down in 2020. So it got pushed and delayed. People left the company, more people came in, those people left the company. Now they're working again. Now they're getting rid of 50 people, pushing them into other EA places. So when this game comes out, there's going to be a lot of scrutiny on this game just because they were forcing them to use the Frostbite engine, just like they forced Anthem to use the Frostbite engine, which it's not an engine that you were supposed to use for Anthem or Dragon Age. Well, now I don't know if they're still using the Frostbite engine. Let me see if they are. Let's see if I can look that up. They say, let's see. Yeah, they're still using the Frostbite engine. At least that's what it says. So we'll see what happens when this game comes out, but it's not looking very good. Now, the Dragon Age, I played the first 2 Dragon Ages, and I absolutely loved them. That's the same time I was like playing Mass Effect 2. Started playing the Dragon Age, and they were phenomenal. Phenomenal games, the first 2. But since then, they've kind of just thrown the wet towels in. You know what I mean? Anthem, Andromeda, and I like Andromeda. We had a playthrough of Andromeda. I really enjoyed it. But they're missing that BioWare magic, as I used to say. Let me see what you guys are saying. Travis says, fingers crossed, the biggest firing of the idiot who said gay people matter in romance options. I don't remember that. EA also destroyed BioWare. It's sad to see. Yeah, it's very sad to see that they're not the same. They're also trying to reboot it, I think. Reboot what, Water? Oh, you're saying you think they're rebooting? Are you saying they might have rebooted Dragon Age as they were doing it? Just give us Mass Effect 4 and Jade Empire 2. Dupla says, how ironic, it's called Dread. Yet it's in development hell. Yeah, it's in development hell. It's downplayed like it's not, but it is. Agile is a super popular software development term to describe the development process. Yeah, but what does that mean, though, Chris, as far as if I have 100 people working for me, and then I'm like, hey, I have to release half of you so I can make the team more agile. Isn't that just a nicer way of saying getting rid of the dead weight? I'm asking. Because that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like a nicer way of saying dead weight. EA is destroying BioWare? No, they've destroyed it. They've destroyed it 100%. Made an overpowered battle mage. Could solo dragons. Oh, that's cool, Water. That's cool. Oh, you're talking about a reboot of Anthem. Oh, right. They tried to reboot it. And then they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to fix it. And they're like, yeah, it's not worth it. And they just dropped it. Casey Hudson, the glue that held BioWare together. Yeah, he left, though. Casey Hudson moved over to Anthem, and then they think they went back to Dragon Age, and then he just left. It's a core Anthem. It's a good game. Problem was 30 said no end game. Yeah, the end game, and Lorker brought it up last night. There was like perks on guns that made no sense. There was like a sniper perk on a shotgun and whatnot. I totally forgot about that. Creepy Monster, thank you very much for the super chat. Or this,
Keep
what is
the
it?
change, you
Is
filthy
it super
animal.
chat? Yeah, super chat. I forget what they're called. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Also in development hell, Star Wars: The Old Republic remake. Yes, that's another one. That's another one that's in problems. Yeah, it was a sniper perk. I believe that's what it was, right? Hold on, let me look it up. Let's see. Let's see if I can read one. Let's see. The person icon benefits of passive is holster icon that only affects them. It's on, so the gun helps you the pistol more effectively. No, that's not it. Let me see if I can find the. I think it was a sniper perk, wasn't it? Is this it? No, that's not it. Different game. Nope, that's Fallout Vegas. I can't remember. If Lurker's here, maybe Lurker remembers what it was. He said the other day. I totally forgot about it. You know what's crazy? You could also do some wild stuff and enjoy, like, imagine a golf game with something like Anthem style mech suits. That would be interesting. Crispy says, "Yeah, it's a fluff public statement, but the word agile in the context as a developer is familiar. I can see why some might think it's an odd word choice. I mean, it does sound like, though, right? We're being agile because agile means you're light on your feet. You know what I mean? You're it's easier to move or make changes, and to do that, you have to get like you don't ever hear a bigger man that's like 400 pounds being agile. You know what I mean? Someone that's light on their feet or agile is usually someone that's very skinny or slender. So that's why I say it sounds like a word that would be like getting rid of the dead weight. Most people can't even shoot a shotgun because of the kickback. Oh, in real life, or you're saying in games? Yeah. The 2K23 we played. Did we play the 20? We played 22. We played the 22 golf game, Travis. It's actually a really good. There was a bunch of I think last year. I think on this channel. Yeah, it was on this channel. We played the golf game. Oh no, that was on our other channel. I don't think we played it at all on this channel. But we played Roy McIlroy. That was good. And then we also played 2K22, and that was a fun one. I haven't tried the 2K23 or EA's Masters, PGA Masters with Tiger Woods on the cover. I think that's Tiger Woods on the cover, right, this year? Or is that 2K23? I forget. Waterbear says, I remember an old PlayStation golf game that was great called Hot Shots Golf. Oh, that's not just on PlayStation, Water. We played that here as well. Like the little cartoony guys that had like the power-ups and whatnot. Tigers 2K23. Then who's on the cover of the Masters for EA? What's that one? Oh, no, that's not the one I'm thinking. Oh, is it? No, that's not the one I'm thinking of. But I did play Hot Shots before. The one I'm thinking of has like these like big buff guys. Hot Shots. Maybe it is. I remember like this one big dude buff guy on the cover. It's actually pretty good though. It was actually pretty good. PGA. Is it called PGA Tour Champion? Yeah, right. There's Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, PGA Tour is 2020, 2K23. What's the new one? It's just called PGA Tour Masters, isn't it? Home of the Majors. That's the one I'm thinking of. Home of the Majors is the one that EA makes. I didn't want to get 2K23, Travis, because I didn't feel there was enough of an update from 2K22 to 2K23. Mario Golf is a good golf game, Rose. Mario Golf was a really good golf game. What's going on, Kuda Papa? Outlaw Golf? Is that what it is? Let me see. Let me see if that's the one. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Now I'm gonna have to turn on my Xbox just to see, because I believe it's on. I believe it's on Game Pass still. Let me see. Power Star Golf. Power Star Golf is what I'm thinking of. And then there's the Golf with Friends. That's always a fun one. Come on, Dabstick. Come on, Soups. No, I'm not talking about me, Akuta Papa. I'm not delusional. 30. You gotta mean I'm only trying it because it's free on Viva on VI PlayStation Plus. Kuda Papa says, read Travis's question and put Game Pass. Looks like we're winning slowly. Yeah. Just got done getting 5M to work proper on the deck. Finally fine tune. Oh, nice. We played 5M roleplay service back in like 2017, 2016, 17, something like that. We had some good times then. I was gonna go over the No Man's Sky update. There's a lot to it. But I think what I'm gonna do instead is I think I'm gonna look at the day 2 of Xbox and see what we got here. Fast forward to stuff I want to see. They're not really showing anything I really care about, though. They're doing Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, which we already know. Forza Motorsports, Stalker: The Heart of Chernobyl, Alan Wake 2, Citizen Sleeper 2, Armored Core is what they're showing right now. Elder Scrolls Online's at 11:45. Yeah. I kind of want to go over just to show what I think. It's perfect timing, obviously, for No Man's Sky to do the Echoes update. Give me 1 second. All right, so my wife just notified me on the shirt. It's I want to be where the people aren't. That's her shirt. I don't have the time for that, Dabstick. I don't have the time for that. You have 7G invested into random scripts. And Travis was saying Monster had money coming out of their wazoo. You spent $7,000 on scripts? What's wrong with you? I mean, you can do what you want with your money. I find it funny because Travis Cryptic Monster was like, I think I'm gonna upgrade to an X, and Travis is like, you have more money, you can give me money. I was like, who cares what they do with their money? And then you're like, I spent 7,000 on scripts. Why on earth would Indiana Jones be first person? Make it third, like Uncharted. So obvious. Did they say it was first person? Do we know? Is there facts that it's first person, Travis? That Indiana Jones is first person? All right, so No Man's Sky comes out with yet another update. In all the updates they've done, I think they've released like 20, I think, total. So introducing 4.4, okay. The Secret Society of Robotic Aliens is update 4.4, called Echoes. Furthering the narrative, introduces an interceptor, explore the mysterious of the autophage, perform their rituals, and learn the language. So in this, okay, Soup says he sucks at putting in 2K23. I was actually really good at putting in that game. So they have mechanical life forms. Okay, they've added mechanical life forms. So it's another character that you can make or whatnot, and they're also in the world. Outlaw capital ships. In the darkness of deep space, fearsome pirate dreadnoughts cruise between stars and territories. Merchant fleets confront them to rescue the civilians from a certain death. Okay. There's a multi-tool salvaging. Okay. They've added the Who return. Join minds of the priest entirely nada to investigate, meet, and perhaps befriend a mysterious robotic autophage. So there's other people out there now, like I said. They have rendering now for the PSVR 2. That's got to be pretty good in the PS. Are any of you guys playing No Man's Sky? And if you are playing No Man's Sky, are you playing in the VR headset within PlayStation or on PC? That's got to be pretty damn cool. Okay. There's Starship Combat Depth. Maximize your starship capabilities by diverting powers to engines, shields, and weapons. That sounds pretty cool. Depending on the current combat situation, supercharge your engines to close in on the enemies at top speed or obliterate them with max power weapons. Interesting. Okay. You got trench runs now. Oh, you can recreate the Death Star trench run. Even the odds against outlaw dreadnoughts are swooping directly into their superstructure. Utilize the precision of agility of the starships to strike invulnerable cores of these huge, hulky capital ships. That's pretty cool. You got Voyager Expeditions. They've added back in. You can earn some rewards. You got a new multi-tool. Expand your arsenal with your multi-tool available with hundreds of variations, probes of secrets, ancient monoliths, and find and claim the runic. Okay. That looks pretty cool. Right, that looks pretty cool. You got a holograph museum. Construct and wonder projectors displayed on your base. So you have projectors all over your base that you can have now. I'm not really sure what you would need that for, but whatever. Destructible freighters. Realize your rating ambition in explosive space combat. All capital ships, from outlaws to dreadnoughts to merchant freighters, can now be reduced to stardust, allowing pilots to earn additional scraps after looting each of every cargo pod. A brand new combat HUD Tracks the hull integration in large vessels, allowing starship pilots to plan their attacks with precision. That's pretty cool. Look at that. That's pretty cool. They got robotic customization, so you can customize your robots. Let's see what else. We got precision fighter combat. Tactical space combatants can target individual freighters, modules, or eliminate defense or sabotage weaponry, destroy generators. That's cool. Now you're getting into the Star Wars fighter assault, where you're doing the mission where you're blowing up all the engines and whatnot on top of the ship. That's pretty cool. Now I can imagine if you're playing with a group of people, right? You have multiple people in your group and you're all attacking this ship, and then you get in on the inside of the ship as well. So people are inside fighting, people are on the outside fighting. Be cool. Autophage metals. Get reputation, sorry. Get a volcanic staff, a traditional ceremonial piece. The volcanic staff is a new class, two-handed multi-tool. So now you can run around with a staff, which is a multi-tool. That's pretty cool. You got outlaw reputation. Smuggle loot and raid your way through the galaxy and impress the outlaws and the universe. Achieve milestones and medals to acquire exclusive titles for your nefarious activities. This sounds like Hello Games is taking No Man's Sky in a completely, like, weird division. You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to make it where, sort of like what we were talking about the other day in Fallout 76. Who said, who was talking about the other day, they wanted to be part of the, what the hell, what are the guys called? I forget what they're called now in Fallout 76. Anyway, different factions. Like you wanted to be more inclusive in the factions. It sounds like this is where they're going with this. Yeah, you could board ships, I believe. Couldn't you board ships before Titan? Oh, I don't know if you could board. I just thought the dreadnoughts and stuff were ships that you could board, because there's other freighters that you could just land on and go in. No, not Brotherhood of Steel. The other guys, the non-Brotherhood. Like, you could be a part of the Brotherhood of Steel, but what I'm saying is people want to make it more like factions, like if you joined the Alliance or the Horde in, like, World of Warcraft. You know what I mean? Like, have different factions and make that more of a thing. It seems like that's what No Man's Sky is going with. Get capes on Switch. Pirate frigates. Okay. Destroying the outlaw dreadnought will leave and support fleet desperate and vulnerable recruits. These survivors add pirate frigates to your fleet. These sleek and immediate crafts can also certain to strike fear into the hearts of enemies on combat-focused fleet. Right? Because look, they have a landing pad on there. Right? They have a landing pad on there, so I'm assuming you can land on those ships. Now, I don't know if you can go inside and loot anything, but I'm pretty sure you can land on them if they're not... Obviously, it's going to be hard to land on a ship that's firing at you. So... here's what I want. I don't know if you can do this yet. I don't know if it was in one of the other updates. But instead of flying just my ship, can I fly the frigate? Like, can I move the frigate freely through space? That would be pretty badass if they did that. So you're like a captain of, like, the Enterprise. You know what I mean? Now, that would be cool. Now, I know you can own the frigates, but they just stay up in space and they're like your base. It would be cool if you could pilot it and captain that ship. That would be cool. Yeah, like fly it. That would be amazing. It's funny, Titan, that a lot of people are upset that people compare No Man's Sky to what Starfield, or Starfield to No Man's Sky. I mean, besides the single player story with all the dialogue and stuff, all the other fundamental stuff like exploring the planets and getting resources, right? I mean, that's what it is. How can you not compare that aspect of Starfield to what this is? Now, obviously, Starfield's probably way more in depth and stuff like that, but what they're doing here, I mean, how do you not compare certain aspects of it? Someone said in Starfield you can get out of your spaceship in space. Is that true? I have no idea, Water. I guess we'll find out in just about a week. Infuse ancient monoliths. Unseen story. So they added more story, but I don't think it's going to be story. It's going to be text-based because that's what it is, right? They got Nintendo Switch visual improvements. Let's see the visual improvements here. It's less blurry. That's what it looks like on Switch, man. How? Get new jetpack trails. Autophage assignments. You get quests and stuff to do for them. Universal secret. What is this? Cloak autophage encampments can be found across the inhabitable planets for travelers who know where to look. Technology can sweep near sites. Rich salvage materials and freighter crashes or damaged machinery can often reveal hidden constructions. That's cool. Now there's more things to search for, right? Okay, rebuild exo modules. Destruct the autophage, upgrade packages, and engineer, salvage, and repurpose technology. Okay. No escape for the wicked. If critically damaged, outlaw dreadnoughts may attempt to flee the battlefield by warping to safety. Those who wish to total destruction upon the pirates will have to target the vessel's colossal warp engines and force the dreadnought to meet its fate. Now, see, my brain goes to, okay, so you stop their warp engines so they can't get away, and then can you board the ship? That's a missed opportunity. If you can't board their ship and try to, like, go through and, like, fight people, like NPCs with inside the ship itself, and then, like, get treasure with inside the ship, that's a missed opportunity. Maybe they'll do it in an update after. More languages, colossal space cannons now. Pirate fleets bring a range of new exotic weaponry to their raids. A massive heat cannon mounted to the dreadnought tear through their strongest. The problem with No Man's Sky, you got some Twitch drops. What else we got? We got freighter shields. All capital ships now activate anti-spaceship shielding, protecting themselves from projectiles and laser fire. So you have to go around and kill the shield generators first before you can start. That's pretty cool. You get a personal refiner upgrades. Okay, personal refiner. Create your own staff. What else we got? And that's it. No Man's Sky is so freaking large and intimidating that to go back and check one of these updates out, you're like, I don't even know what's new. And it takes so long to find out what's new in the game because you have to, like, start another character and, like, start from scratch, or you use the same one that you have. It still takes a bit to get into that new stuff, right? Let's see what you guys are talking about here. Feel early copies can confirm. But can they confirm? I don't know. Are they allowed to confirm? They can't confirm. That would be breaking NDA, right? Quintar, in other news, Star Citizen still in development. Can you imagine, right? No Man's Sky was 6 years in development, then it came out, and now it's been out for 7 years. So it's been out for 13 years from beginning to end. Star Citizen has been out for 10 years, and it's still in early access. And now Starfield's been worked on for 8 years, and it's coming out, yet Star Citizen is still in development. Like, what the hell? Crazy. Spacewalking, then space hijacking, all while moving. It'll be out in 2030. How could here's the thing, at least No Man's Sky and now Starfield are ambitious and they're out or coming out, right? And Star Citizen is still in development and still in early access. Um, I'm not sure when it started. Let's look it up, right? Woo, 2011. Pre-production of the game began 2010, with production starting in 2011. So we're 14 years. So No Man's Sky, basically No Man's Sky and Star Citizen started around the same time. The difference is that No Man's Sky has been out for 7 years, launched and adding stuff, and Star Citizen has never launched and still adding stuff. That's crazy. That's true, Eclipse. That's very true. Why release a game, right? And you could say the same thing for why haven't we seen Grand Theft Auto 6 yet? Right? They're making so much money off Grand Theft Auto 5. Why release Grand Theft Auto 6? Now, when 6 comes out, obviously, it's sooner rather than later now. But same thing with Elder Scrolls Online. Why isn't there no Skyrim? Right? Why is there no Skyrim 6? Because Elder Scrolls Online. Right? Why isn't there? There's all these games that could have a sequel or something to come out, but why? When they're making tons of money. Star Citizen's making, you're paying hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars for ships in Star Citizen. Of course they're not going to release. They're like, yep, I guarantee you, Starfield comes out, there's going to be something they do in Starfield, and Star Citizen's going to be like, we're going to add that to the game. We're going to add that. Because that's the whole MO of Star Citizen. They see all what other games are doing. They're like, hey, let's take that and put it in our game. Right? They still don't even have their story mode complete. No Man's Sky is a much simpler game in comparison to Star Citizen. So is Starfield. Sure, but what I'm saying is No Man's Sky has been out and they've added stuff more and more and more. You got to remember, No Man's Sky's got what, 14 to 20 employees, right? What what is how many employees does Star Citizen have? Okay, let's see. 604, right? Cloud Emporium Games has 604 employees. No Man's Sky has 20. 22? So yeah, No Man's Sky is a much smaller game, but my point is that they've released their game and added stuff continuously for 7 years. Mark Hamill looks so young in Star Citizen. Well, they can make him look however they want, but yeah, it's been so long, right? He's at least 10 years older since he did that job. Did they change game engines? So they went from Amazon Lumberyard to CryEngine, or did they do it the other way around? Let me see. Ditching the Cry engine. Ditching the Cry engine in favor of the Lumberyard engine. So there you go. So they're getting rid of or changing from Cry engine into Amazon Lumberyard engine. Well, now I've never. Is this what they're using it for? New World Lumberyard engine, game engine. See. Yeah, New World uses it. Crucible used it. DRG Initiative, The Breakaway, and Grand Tour game. Really interesting. Amazon Lumberyard is now freeware cross-platform game engine developed by Amazon based on CryEngine. So wait a minute. They're not ditching the CryEngine. They're just moving it. So basically, Lumberyard is based on the same engine Star Citizen was using. They just now, right? So which was licensed from Crytek in 2015. July of 2021, Amazon and Linux Foundation announced that parts of the engine would be used to create a new open source game engine called Open3D Engine, which would replace it. A new Open3D Foundation run by Linux Foundation will manage the new engine, which will be licensed under the open source Apache 2.0. The new engine is reportedly partially based on Lumberyard, but with many parts rewritten and considered a new engine. So there you go. The Lumberyard engine features integration with Amazon Web Service to allow developers to build and host their games on Amazon servers, as well as the support for live stream via Twitch. Additionally, the engine includes Twitch chat play, allowing viewers to Twitch stream to influence the game through the associated chat. A method of play inspired by Twitch play Pokemon phenomenon. The source code is also available at the end users with limitations. Users may not publicly release the Lumberyard engine source code for use of a release of their own game engine. Lumberyard launches on February 9th of 2016 alongside the Game Lift, a fee-based managed service to deploying and hosting multiple games intended to allow developers that easy development of games to attract large and vibrant communities. As of March of 2018, the software is currently in beta status and can be used to build games for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, with the limited support of iOS and Android and support the macOS being planned for future releases. Virtual reality integration was added in beta 1.3, allowing developers to build games supporting devices like Oculus Rift. Despite being based on the architecture of Crytek CryEngine, the engine has been developed to use many of its own custom development systems in the preview mode. A few of these systems include component and entity system, fur shaders, modular gems, which allow developers to either create their own assets or add existing assets to their games. There you go. There you go. The more you know.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe!
2015, 2016, they did a change, added first-person combat as well. $76. Let me know, like in Discord or whatever, once you play it. I would like to know when you jump in, how fast could you start enjoying the new stuff? Because I don't have the time, because I don't want to jump in and it takes me 3 hours, and then basically I would rather put 3 hours off stream to then put the time in on stream of showing the new stuff. So if you play, let me know how fast you can like start implementing the new things. Obviously, the pirate ships and stuff will be pretty like right then and there, but other things, sort of like the staff or anything like that, I'll be curious. Let me know. Didn't they get canceled? Didn't they cancel Lord of the Rings? I don't think Lord of the Rings MMO is happening anymore. It's in development MMOs set in the world of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it's been canceled. It is? It's a new one? So wait, okay, wait a minute. As of September 8th of 2022, it says Amazon Game revealed last year that its in development MMO set in the world of Lord of the Rings has been canceled as the team had been unable to secure terms to proceed with the title at this time. Is there somebody else? From what I heard, you're supposed to be able to start it as soon as you find the abandoned system. We'll see. If so, hopefully it's not Amazon. I mean, here, I'll put in not cancel, just Lord of the Rings MMO. Obviously, we have the one that's been out since, years and years ago. This one says Lord of the Rings Online. This can't be it, right? This is the one that's been out for since 2012, which is different. Yeah, as of May 26th, the upcoming Lord of the Rings MMO is facing an uphill battle with Tolkien fans. Amazon has officially announced that it'll be partnering with Embracer Group for a brand new Lord of the Rings MMO. It's said to be an open world MMO that will let players explore Middle-earth. It'll be developed by studio behind New World. Not much else is known about the project, but Lord of the Rings fans are skeptical about the new venture. So I'm confused. Is this the game? Because this is in May of 23. They made this. So Amazon had a MMO in development, and then they canceled that one. And then they went in with Embracer Group, and nothing's known about it. So they can make an MMO of Lord of the Rings. So they canceled one Lord of the Rings MMO to team up with Embracer Group to make another Lord of the Rings MMO. Isn't that like opening up a pizza shop on a corner that doesn't do very well, and then you close the pizza shop just to open up a pizza shop to find out that it's not going to do very well? Right? Like, as a business owner, right? As a business owner, if a pizza shop was there and didn't make it, and then you're like, hey, you know what? Let's open up a pizza shop in the same place where the pizza shop was, and let's see if it makes it. Probably not going to make it, right? This is kind of weird, especially now hearing about what Embracer Group is doing. They're closing studios left and right. They're laying off thousands of people. So it'll be interesting to find out if this goes through. Close down a pizza shop and open it up with an established name called Pizza Hut. But it still won't make it. You know what I'm saying, Titan? Depends on the other shop that had shit pizza. Well, let me tell you this. This is a story, 76. Where we used to live, we lived in another place 7 years ago, and we lived there for 10 years. There was a pizza shop, and that's why I said the analogy. There was a pizza shop that opened up there, and we showed up, and we ate the pizza, right? Because you got to try it out. Because we just moved there. We're like, oh, let's try the pizza place. And it was terrible pizza, right? And then we stopped going there. And then a couple months later, it shut down, and then it opened up another pizza place. So the new pizza place opened, and then we went there, and we had the pizza, and it wasn't good. So then that pizza place closed down. We lived there for 10 years, and in the exact same spot where that pizza place was, there was 6 pizza shops that closed down and reopened, and they all were shit, right? But if you knew where this pizza place was, you're like, this is kind of a weird spot for a pizza place. But yet, all the time. So what we thought was happening was it was the same owners all the time. They would just open up a new pizza place underneath a different name, okay? Right? Just open up a pizza place with a name. It would fail. They would make a lot of money up front because new pizza place, they make all their money, and then they just dump it. Then they would open up a same pizza place, change the name, get that infrastructure of people coming in going, oh, it's a new pizza place, let's try it out. And then they would suck, and then they would dump it. It was crazy. I was like, how do they keep opening up a pizza place here and no one can make good pizza? So the analogy is Amazon stopped making a Lord of the Rings game so they could make a Lord of the Rings game. They were making it and said, no, we don't want to make it. Let's give it to Embracer so they can make it, and we'll publish it. Explain why Pizza Hut opened in my town, went out of business, then 10 years later opened up a Pizza Hut, went into the same location, out of business yet again. That's what I don't understand, Kylo. It's like, who did their research on this? They're like, pizza place is going to make it here. 5 other pizza places were in the exact same location, and they didn't make it. I mean, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. It could be better pizza there, and it could make it. There was a sub shop near me that did the exact same thing. We figured that was probably doing a scam, like 8 different shops over 5 years. Yeah, it's weird, right? Travis says, son of a bitch. I slayed a monster the exact same time my teammate got the last fate. The Goes mission failed. Oh, you got to do it all over again? I hate when that happens. You're like, wait. Oh. You're like, damn it. They declare bankruptcy, dodge all the bills, open up under a new corporation. Typical move. Yeah, Big T. I mean, obviously, we could tell. We went there twice. We didn't go there ever again because we're just like, you know, we ate, it sucked. New place open, we ate, it sucked. We're like, yeah, nah, we're good. That place is cursed. I mean, I would like a Lord of the Rings game. You know what I mean? I mean, I would like again, I'll say it again. I would like a Marvel. I would like a Transformers. I would like a Star Wars. Like, you take those IPs and make them into any game, and I'm interested because I'm interested in those IPs. Take the exact same game that you've already have out there with something else and put one of those IPs on it, and I would be interested. But a problem with that is a lot of them take the IP because they want the fan base that's built in, but they shit all over the thing, right? Embracer Group, I don't have very good confidence in them. Embracer Group right now made Saints Row. The new Saints Row. Not very good, right? Embracer Group, what's the other game they made recently, right? It didn't do very good. They're picking up everyone else's scraps, but they're not putting the love and tender care into it. They're just trying to invest their money back, get their money back. Right? And they just had that $2 billion deal go through, so they have to let people go now. Embracer's the ones who ruined Avengers? No. Embracer bought it afterwards. Embracer bought them when Square Enix was like, hey, we're done. Who wants to buy them? Embracer's like, hey, we'll buy it. We'll buy your scraps. It wasn't Square. Yeah. It was Square, 100%. Square Enix completely screwed over Crystal Dynamics. Completely screwed them over. Square Enix also screwed over Outriders. Square Enix also screwed over, what was that? What was that other game that came out that like one person was playing the MMO? What was that game called? I don't even remember. There was literally like 5 people playing. 3 people playing? What was that game? It was an MMO that 3 people were playing. Babylon's Fall. Thank you, Travis. Thank you. Yes. Babylon's Fall. Yes, Titan. That's it. There's 3 people playing it. I was like, holy Christ. That was bad. Yeah, that's it, Dustin. That was a terrible. That's a what not to do. Here's the stats for Babylon Fall on PC. All-time peak. All-time peak. Isn't it 101, which is so perfect because class is in session. This is how you don't make a game. 101 on PC. Now I don't know the player base. I don't know the player base for console, but I don't think it was much better. In May of 2022, it said on Steam the game has an all-time high of 1,166 concurrent players, which fell to just one player in May of 2022. So why does it say Babylon's Fall Steam chart says 101, peak is 101? That can't be right. That's gotta be a mess up then. The all-time peak was 1,166. Okay, wait a minute. So if all-time peak, just one player in May of 2022. So when did Babylon's Fall release? Oh my god. It released March 3rd, 2022. And in May of 2022, which is less than 8 weeks, it went from 1,166 to one person. Wow. Wow. Now, if you guys want to say dead game, that's a dead game. That's dead. That was dead on arrival. That's terrible. Why are you digging up old things? Because of the conversation we're having, Titan? Did you not just hear the whole conversation we had and what we were talking about and just it was part of the conversation? Payday 3 might be a fun game. I got to play it early beta content creators. Only I enjoyed it, but one thing I didn't like was always online and you can't go offline. Oh, it's always online, Dustin? That sucks. Well, Travis, look, you're not paying. You're not going to play. You're not playing Payday. Welcome to gaming in 2023. Yeah, that's well, that just means this is what this means, right? Payday comes out, and if it bombs, it'll be done in a year and a half, 2 years, and they'll just take it off the servers. Well, Travis, you said that you don't play online only games. You said this. I didn't say this. Payday 3, Game Pass game, so online only, not a problem. No, and I think that's why it's going on Game Pass, right? Because that helps the player base. We just read a story a couple days ago with the Chainsaw Massacre game that came out last week on Friday, right? Last week we talked about, and we talked about an article, I think it was on Monday, talking about Chainsaw Massacre. They were happy to put it on Game Pass because those type of games live or die with the player base. So if there's a wall stopping people from buying the game, then people don't play it, right? So they had 1 million concurrent don't know if it was concurrent, but they had 1 million people play over the weekend, right? I don't know if it was concurrent over the per day, but they had 1 million people playing Chainsaw Massacre because of Game Pass. Now, I don't know. They don't give you the numbers because I think there was like 100,000 or 200,000 people or something like that playing on. Let's look it up. Chainsaw Massacre charts. Yeah, they had 17,000 all-time peak 4 days ago, but they said 1 million people played it over the weekend. So I would assume majority of that. I mean, people probably bought it and played it on PlayStation, but I would assume most of those people tried it or played it on Game Pass. Yeah, but that's an MMO, Travis, and that's different. That's an MMO. Obviously, MMOs are online, right? That's a completely different. We're talking like single player games. We're talking, co-op games where they're only online. Like what was the just recently there was a single player game that came out that was only online. Hopefully they don't piss Microsoft off and get kicked to the bottom of the discovery page. Right. It's not even pissing it off, right? There's only a certain amount of people because like when you here, I have my thing open right now. So if I go to I know it sounds ridiculous. Right? If I go where is it? Okay. So on Xbox, when you go here, this is the first thing you see, right? It shows you the stuff that's on Game Pass, right? They got Starfield, they got Age of Empires, they got Chainsaw Massacre. Once this wears off, it's gone. And then to get here, right? So now recently added, so you're in the top 5 here, and you can go show all. So now you're in. This is all the stuff they just add recently. But once you're off this list, this is like Netflix, right? Go watch this because people are popular the last top 10 or whatnot. But once it gets off this, you go into this, right? You go into this and you have to scroll. If you don't know what you're looking for, you're just scrolling through. I hate this. This to me is the Blockbuster video of when you walk into the giant store. Those of you that don't know what Blockbuster video is or Hollywood video or any of those things, like you wanted a new thing, right? You went to that one section and it had all the brand new stuff. But if you didn't want a new game or the new games were all sold out, you had to go up and down every single aisle, right? You had to go up and down every single aisle to try to find what you were interested in, right? And then what happens is you stay more within this scrolling through going, okay, what is this? So you have like an hour to play or you have you're taking 30 minutes to go through and look at stuff. Of course are you listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth, Titan? I said, if you don't know what you're looking for, you're just looking at games, right? You're like, I don't know what to play, right? You've never done this before, right? You've never didn't know what to play and just started scrolling through stuff. You just kind of get bored of it, right? You're just like, whatever. I'm sure you're different than everybody else. How do they determine the position? Well, you could sort it by what you're looking for, right? If you're looking for a shooter, you can go to shooter. If you want to go for action adventure, if you want to go for role playing, you can sort it. But the point is, once it's not promoted on the front screen, it just gets tossed into the hundreds of games that are there in alphabetical order. Exactly, Big T. Right? If you know what you're looking for, right? You're like, oh, I heard this is on there. You go there, boom, pick it, download it, done. But if you don't know what you're doing, right? You don't know what you want to play. You're like, I'm kind of bored. Let me see, right? Right? You just kind of just scroll through. Same thing with Netflix. Same thing with any other streaming service. You're like, I don't know what I want to watch today. You're like, oh, it's top 10, and you pick the top 10 stuff, right? Obviously, if you're not going into if you just go here, obviously you can filter through. Oh, here's some stuff from EA. Here's added gameplay later that you've added. Here's most popular, right? Day of release, right? They sort them for you. But if you're an independent developer, once that time slot's done for you, or whatever deal you have, and it just goes away because it's like next deal up, you're gone, out of sight, out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. I mean, the general page, unfiltered. You know, it's poor Xbox people are missing that recently started replaying Ghost of Tsushima. I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima, obviously. I didn't buy it for the PlayStation 4, and I'm waiting for like a up version. So when it comes out, if it comes out for PC or if it comes out for PlayStation, upscale. Oh, I'm sure it is. Just wait for PC, and it'll be even better. That's what I figured. That's what I figured. I mean, it's gonna come to PC. I don't know what I want to play. This is Xbox fault. No one said it was Xbox fault. Nobody said. The conversation was that if Chainsaw Massacre gets pushed down, that no one's going to see where it is, right? That's why he said don't piss them off. It just gets tossed into the rest. This is an article that we read. It was like 2-3 months ago, right? The people that are independent developers, they say when you get onto Game Pass in the early stages of Game Pass or any streaming service, okay, that it's easier for them to be found and successful. It helps them out. But the more that games get added, the more first-party titles that come on to Game Pass, the less the independent developers get put out there. The more developers that make games and they all start putting it on Game Pass, it starts to get oversaturated. And they said that by year 3, which we're in now, okay, it's going to get less and less profitable for the independent developers. So now they start looking at it as getting the money. So now they're making games for Game Pass, right? So independent developers are just making a game, and Microsoft approaches them, right? And this is not my thoughts. This is what the article said. Now they're making games for Game Pass where they make their money up front, basically, right? They ask them how many copies or what the deal is that they want, what they're looking for to recoup their money based on the game. Microsoft pays them, and then they basically sell their game to Microsoft to put on the Microsoft store or put on to Game Pass or whatnot. So now the developer doesn't have the headache of worrying about the game sales and whatnot. They get paid, and it gets put on there. And Microsoft doesn't need to promote it or anything because they're just putting it on the service, and it's just another game in the 200 assortment of games that are on there for the value of Game Pass. Updates to live service type games pushes it to the top of the list to get more people into the game. Every time they update stuff. Is that true? So let me see. They got the leaving soon. They got the day 1 release. They got the most popular. Let me go to most popular. Picks for me, recently added. Where would they show, like, No Man's Sky just did an update? No Man's Sky's on Game Pass. Where would they show that? Right? Like, where would they show that? I played No Man's Sky. I own it. Right? Where would they show it on here? I don't see it, right? Obviously, it wouldn't be in the recently added because it didn't get recently added. Picks for me, maybe? No. Most popular? No, not there. Day one release, it wouldn't be there. Leaving soon? Not there. Right? So, like, where would they put that? Right? They have segments of, like, okay, here's a dungeon crawler, here's the stuff. That's what I've noticed. It might also push to people without the game, I guess, but would they want to promote what games are coming? I don't know. You said that they promote it if they add something. I'd never noticed that. I've never noticed that on my side. You might be right. I've just never noticed it. D2 gets pushed to the top of my ads. Well, that's probably because Bungie pays them. Do you really think they just get put up on a list because they don't make money off of the developers and stuff? I don't think they're, like, promoting games out of the kindness of their heart. I would assume they would have to get that prime real estate, you would have to pay, wouldn't you? Unless it's a first party title. If it's a first party title, they're going to promote themselves because they're underneath the umbrella of Microsoft. But I would assume it's Microsoft is not out of the kindness of their heart going, "Oh, you have an update. Let's put it right. Let's put it on the front page." I don't think so. They make money off of you. They make money off of them. Unless it was part of their contract. Hey, we have updates coming out once a season. Well, yeah, sure. We'll put it into the thing. There's no way Microsoft's like, well, they just did an update. Let's promote them. They don't give a shit. They would rather promote their first party games than third party games. And the third party games they are promoting are brand new day one because that's getting people to come to Game Pass. No one's just doing it out of the kindness of their heart. Hell, even YouTube does it, right? Like, I could post my and just release my video, right? Or I can pay YouTube to promote my video, and then they would push it out, and that costs me money. What's going to be? What's all this Phil drama? No, there's no drama. We were talking about how, well, I don't even know where we started. We were talking about No Man's Sky's update. Then we talked about how it gets compared. It might get compared to Starfield. Then we started talking about Game Pass and then Chainsaw Massacre, how it made 1 million people and how they push it. Then we started talking about a article a couple months ago talking about how independent companies getting early on to Game Pass or streaming service is good, but it's worse for them in the long run. And then Nakuda Papa said that usually when they have updates, they promote it onto Game Pass. And then I was like, well, No Man's Sky just had an update, and I didn't see it anywhere on my thing, and that's on Game Pass. So we're just there right about now. Possibly, it's all algorithm. I try to pay attention to what the store has. Sony has something similar going on. Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's impossible. It's impossible for them to promote everybody fairly, right? Hence why people pay to get prominent promotion. Or if it's brand new, like Liza P is coming out, so they're going to promote that because they're pushing that. Their Starfield's going to be there because they're promoting that. Because it's part of the contracts they sign with the third party sites. Like obviously, when Final Fantasy 14 comes to Xbox, that'll be posted everywhere because let people know it's coming. It's part of the contract. It's part of the business model. Starfield, when it drops, will be compared to Mass Effect, No Man's Sky right off the bat. But I think it's more comparable to Skyrim, just in space. Phil Spencer said it would be, didn't he say in an interview, it'd be more compared to, did he say Morrowind than Skyrim? I think he's what he said. Or I forget if that's Pete. I forget who said it. I think it was Phil. Pacific Drive? I have no idea. I don't even give it time of day, Travis. If Final Fantasy 11 came to Game Pass, I guess Series X. Well, it probably will at some point. I mean, they made a deal with them. I'm assuming they're going to try to put as many Final Fantasy games over on Xbox as possible, I would assume. Looks like Ghostbusters Car Simulator. Oh, is that the one with the station wagon, Travis? That upgrades? Is that the one? The Pacific Ride? That one? Pacific Drive? Yeah, it does look weird. I don't know about that. Yeah, this thing looks weird. I don't know about this one. Hold on. Let me This is that weird one. Where you like upgrade and travel and pick up stuff. It's like a scavenging game. But your car is like the base. You're just finding stuff, building your thing up, but I would assume to go deeper and deeper into whatever's out there that you're fighting, or not fighting, but trying to get deeper into the world. The Sony fanboys just going to review bomb Starfield into hell, probably. But what's the difference? Here's my thing, B. If it gets review bombed to hell, majority of the population can just try it on Game Pass, right? So the Xbox fans that have Xbox are going to try Starfield regardless of what the reviews are, because it's almost nothing out of pocket. So they'll try it on their own, right? They'll try it on their own. The Pacific Drive game, Travis, looks like a game I would get on like Steam sale. It doesn't look like something I would be interested in, but it does look like it would be something interesting down the road. Like it's like the backlog. It's like, oh, I'll play it later once I have time, type of thing. seem like a police simulator kind of guy. I would try it. I would try it. There is a police game coming out. It's actually a pretty good one. I forget what it's called now. Let me see. There is a police one. It's not police simulator. It's something else. Well, there is police simulator, which is coming out. I don't know if that's the one. There's another one. One. Couple police sim. I don't think that's it. Is this it? That's Autobahn. No, that's not it. Maybe it is police simulator. There was one more where it reminded me of like a traditional, like actual simulator, not like a first person one. It was like I thought it was like an isometric. I thought it was an isometric one. RoboCop looks actually pretty good. Big T. RoboCop looks actually pretty good. Yeah, this is the gameplay trailer for that. I'm not gonna do the sound. We'll just play it in the background. Why isn't it going full screen? Okay, I was like, what's happening? It actually looks pretty fun. Ghost Runner, but worried to get pissed at it. Ghost Runner. Is that the one? I played something with. Is it the one where you run and try to figure out the side scroller? Or no? Is that a different game I'm thinking of? There's a new game I thought, Titan, that was coming out. It was a police sim game, but it was like isometric. I thought I saw one. I think the most annoying thing it's going to be in this game is that you can't move fast. You're going to hear the doosh, 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 doosh every time he walks. I think that'll be the most annoying part. You know how people like want to like run in certain you get to like the HQ of a base and you can't run because they slow you down on purpose? That's how you're going to be RoboCop the entire time, because he doesn't run. He just walks his speed. Like, you have no choice. You have to walk. Yeah, I think tomorrow we're doing one, I think. I don't know what we're doing until like the literally the next morning. I don't know the topics. I don't know anything. I literally show up and he gives me a question and I talk. I don't watch his content throughout the week. So let me see if that's it. Titan. That's it. That's it. Yeah. That's the one. That's the one. This seems interesting to me. Now, this would be cool. Obviously, I'm making up shit in my own head now, but this would be fun. Could you imagine me and Sarge playing this together? Like, we're two cops and we're solving crimes and going through the city together. That would be fun. I don't know if it's co-op in any way, shape, or form, but that would be cool. Is this game on Game Pass? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's going to be on Steam. It's a single-player game. Single-player game. Let me see. Watch it. It's coming to Xbox, but it can't. It is coming to Xbox. It says the Precinct is a single player only game, and you have any type of online. It will not have any type of online or multiplayer elements. Speaking in regards to the game's availability, you'll be able to enjoy the game on PC, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series X. Older generation console owners will not be able to get in the game. I would assume the S is part of that, but it specifically doesn't say the S. It doesn't say Series SX. It just says Series X. So I'm assuming it's going to come out for the S as well. But I'm definitely interested in that game when it comes out. Because it almost reminds me of like Police Quest and stuff like that. And we don't know when that comes out. We know when it comes out? It says 2024. Doesn't have a date. Good find though, Titan. I knew there was one that was isometric and it was a police game. I just couldn't remember the name. All right. On today's show, we talked about the three main things was God, I don't even remember now. We talked about BioWare, losing the employees, right? We talked about the new Lord of the Rings game delayed on the Xbox version. We talked about No Man's Sky, about the update for No Man's Sky, and we also talked about Epic coming out with the new early program. If you sign up or make a game for them for 6 months, exclusive. So they're trying to do the exclusivity on the front row, I think is what it's called. So that's what we talked about. If you guys like the topics of what we do every single Monday through Thursday, is that we bring up news stories and have conversations with you guys in chat. We're going to be doing a podcast this evening called Generation X Gaming. It's a weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week. We rant along the way. Join me and Sarge at 8 p.m. tonight Eastern. He's going to be here in my house because he's driving up right now. So we're going to be doing it in the house. So the setup might be a little different. We probably won't look at the cameras or we'll look at each other because when someone's in a room with you, not looking at them is kind of weird. But yeah, so we'll do that tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern for episode. I think it's 362. We've been doing it for 9 years, going on to 10. Appreciate it very much. Make sure you guys hit that like button before you leave. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you become a member as little as $5. It does help me us out. This is what I do. So I appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.